What up? What up? Happy Sunday. I hope everyone's enjoying their football action this Sunday. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. On your way in, or you just coming in to be nosy, please hit my like button. I would greatly appreciate it. I know we did a show Friday, but I had to do one Sunday to cover uh this past week, week 5 or Saturday college football games, and also cover uh some NFL action that's currently going on. So yeah, let's get it going, man. Shout out to Coach 67 Sports TV. He was over there doing color commentating in his state, Louisiana. How'd that go?
First of all, good afternoon to everyone. Hoping all is well with everyone. Shout out to the Louisiana All American Sports Network. That's who I did commentary for Friday night. The game was practically a blowout. It was the final score ended up being 63-0. So yeah, I mean, the color commentary is going good, but the game wasn't competitive whatsoever.
So I heard, man, but that's what's up, man. You was commentating a game. That's awesome, man. That's something you can put.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty much every Friday night, So
Okay, that's cool, man. Um, but overall, how's everybody feeling this Sunday, man? Coach, JB, how y'all feeling?
I mean, I wish the Saints would have won, but I'm blessed and highly favored.
I hear you, man. We get when we come to our NFL segment, you can talk about it, man. Definitely can
Without
talk about
question.
it.
But man, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to hear y'all fellas doing good too, man. But um, hey, my Tar Heels took a loss yesterday, but hey, it is what it is, man.
It is what it is, man. For real. But let's go into going over the scores of week 5 in college football. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so folks can see what I'm reading off of. Let me know if y'all can see it. All right. So that game we mentioned Friday, uh, Miami and Virginia Tech, they had a great game. Miami ended up beating Virginia Tech 38-34. Rutgers beats Washington 21-16. Texas outmatches Mississippi State Bulldogs 35-13. Alabama beats Georgia 41-34. And this game I want to talk about a little bit. Man, Alabama was blowing Georgia out, man. It seemed like there was no especially in the first half. In the second half, it seemed like Georgia knocked out the Caldwells, but a little bit too late. Uh, Alabama sensational freshmen on the defensive side and offensive side of the ball, especially Ryan Williams at wide receiver. He's only 17. He was tearing Georgia secondary up, bro. And this young boy only 17. So Alabama, even though Nick Saban gone, they are continuing the tradition of finding awesome talent. Uh, Coach, did you catch this game?
Which one you talking about? Alabama and Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's primarily that was the game of the night for me. Yeah, I watched it. My uncle he was watching LSU in South Alabama. I'm like, man, this game ain't even worth watching. So I'm watching. I'm kind of flipping back and forth, and I'm like, wow, Alabama putting the beat down on Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and then he still won't watch this Alabama. I mean, LSU South Alabama. I mean LSU South Alabama game, and got to a point I just ended up turning it. I'm like, man, I don't want to watch this. This game is not competitive. Alabama has no chance of beating LSU, so I ended up turning it. So, you know, Georgia's literally just gradually cutting into the lead. And Alabama really didn't seem to make no adjustments to the adjustments that Georgia made. Then the next thing you know, they cut it to 12. And I'm like, man, this getting to be a good game. Then they cut it to 5. And I'm like, oh, snap. Then Georgia takes the lead. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Then the next play, Milroe throw a touchdown. You know, phenomenal play by like, in the words of Dick Vitale, the diaper dandy, you know, he made a phenomenal play, Williams. And, you know, so Alabama, and they make the 2-point conversion. Now they go up by 7. And then at the end of the game, another sensational freshman, you know, he make an interception in the end zone to close out the game. So that ended up being a game between that and Prairie View and Grambling. Those 2 games were the game of the night for me. Those 2 games for me.
Yeah, I agree. Highly agree. JB, you catch a whiff of this game last night?
Yeah, it's basically what Coach said, man. Like you know, peeped at the score and saw the large margin, and you was like, wow. And then, you know, we was, you know, going back and forth in the text. We were like, oh man, Alabama about to let Georgia come back and win. And they actually had the lead. But Jalen Milroe made that throw, and that young boy, number 17, the 17-year-old, made that phenomenal catch and then made a play. I had some yak after the catch and ran it in for a touchdown. And that was a good game, man. I'm glad it ended up in some drama, and you know.
But Big Joe got a point. He was saying they should have technically, and you know, and I kind of agree with him. Alabama should have ended up blowing. I think the defensive side of the ball got too comfortable and forgot that Georgia got some talented pieces on offense, and they let them come back.
Yeah, they got lax. I agree. But it was a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent game. And in all actuality, that was the only thing that really let Georgia back into the game was the fact that Alabama got complacent. You know, but other than that, like JB was saying, it was a great game. You know?
Yeah, it was a good game, man. And shout out to brother Brent Fox. He said, "Salute, brothers. Literally working on some things around the house, but still listening and supporting. I appreciate you, man." Big Joe, he said, "Salute to the family. Got a severe migraine, so I will be listening, fam. You all good, man. Make sure you drink plenty of water, man."
Yeah, and whatever his triggers are, you know, he needs to kind of ease back on it.
Yeah,
Stay out of the light. You know, you light sensitive. You know,
yeah,
whatever. You know, lay down.
Get better, Joe.
Yeah,
yeah.
please.
Get better, bro.
Yeah.
86 Ghost said ATL ho what? Yeah, because Atlanta beat the Saints, which the coach gonna cook on when we get in our NFL segment.
Unfortunately.
And Jay Barr said, "Salute family in chat. Salute, Jay Barr. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate it. But just going back to the scores, Kentucky came back and beat Ole Miss. And shout out to Big Joe. He called this 2017. Kentucky beat Ole Miss. Ohio State beat up Michigan State 38-7. Oregon beats UCLA 34-13. Penn State outmatches Illinois 21-7. Arizona, this is a surprise for me, beats Utah 23-10. and I thought Utah was gonna run away with this one, but not at all. So and Michigan barely beats Minnesota 27-24. Mm, very close game, and no disrespect to Minnesota. Uh, they're not a complete ball club in my opinion. So yeah, Michigan should have blew them out. But like we said before, these are um this is not the same of yesteryear. Same teams of yesteryear. UC Southern California, USC beats Wisconsin 38-21. LSU beats South Alabama 42-10. Notre Dame beats Louisville 31-24. Clemson beats Stanford 40-14. Iowa State blows out Houston 20-0. Kansas State beats Oklahoma State 42-20. Oklahoma barely beats Auburn 27-21. BYU crawled. I actually watched this game. BYU was just making turn in the first half, going up and down the field. Got an interception. Turned that interception to a score. Uh, just basically blew out Baylor in the first half. Second half, Baylor started checking out the cobwebs, uh, and started coming back. Almost damn near came back and beat BYU, but BYU held them off. BYU wins 34-28. Texas A&M barely beats Arkansas. Razorbacks 21-17. Washington State falls to Boise 45-24. Boston College wins barely against Western Kentucky 21-20. Maryland gets beat by Indiana 42-28. North Carolina State beats Northern Illinois 24-17. Nebraska beats Purdue 28-10. Holy Cross beats Syracuse beats Holy Cross 42-14. Tulane beats Southern Florida or South Florida 45-10. Navy beats UAB, University of Alabama Birmingham 41-18. Navy is still undefeated, y'all. Nobody can stop that flex bone option.
Well, I mean, it ain't like they playing the SEC, so
That's true. But that's true. That is true.
But in all fairness, you got to win the games that you're supposed to win. Unlike my Tar Heels giving up 70 to James Madison. So
That's true. UConn beats Buffalo 47-3. James Madison, the team that blew out North Carolina last week, blew out Ball State 63-7. So James Madison said it was not a fluke. Sam Houston barely beats Texas State 40-39. Central Michigan barely beats San Diego State 22-21. Georgia Southern beats their rivals Georgia State 38-21. TCU beats Kansas 38-27. Eastern Michigan beats Kent State 52-33. Marshall beats Western Michigan 27-20. UMass loses to Miami of Ohio 23-20. Ohio Bobcats beats Akron 30-10. Colorado beats UCF 48-21. A lot of people had Colorado losing this game, but we all know Colorado's no world beaters, but they made everybody eat crow yesterday. So hat goes off to them. UNLV beats Fresno State 59-14. Louisiana beats Wake Forest 41-38. North Carolina was leading the game all first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and let Duke come back and beat them 21-20. So now
Man,
Duke
this could be Mac Brown last hurrah, bro.
yeah, it is. I think he's done. East Carolina beats University of Texas San Antonio 30-20. Old Dominion beats Bowling Green 30-27. FIU beats Louisiana Tech 17-10. Florida Atlantic beats Wagner 41-10. And guys, there's a lot of games. So let me see if anything. Oh, Florida State lost to SMU 42-16. Army West Point blew out Temple 42-14. Wyoming beats Air Force 31-19. Texas Tech beats Cincinnati 44-41. New Mexico beats their rival, New Mexico State 50-40. University of Louisiana Monroe barely beats Troy 13-9. And North Texas Mean Green beats Tulsa 52-20. Um. Okay. It was good football going on. We gonna switch our attention to HBCU real fast, man. Um. Just going over to some of the scores. So Campbell beats Delaware State 44-41. North Carolina Central blows out Norfolk State 37-10. Norfolk State, North Carolina Central is looking stronger than me at coach.
They're the team to beat, my opinion.
Yeah, they are. Princeton beats Howard 30-10. Alabama State beats Bethune-Cookman 26-21. Stony Brook beats Morgan State 22-3. William and Mary beats Hampton 49-7. Tennessee State, shout out to Coach Eddie George, beats Charleston Southern 13-9. South Carolina State blows out North Carolina A&T 45-25. This was a surprise to me, Coach. I thought it was going to be more competitive, but those Bulldogs said y'all not on my level this year. Alcorn State beats Mississippi Valley 42-21. Mississippi Valley continues to struggle. In my opinion, just watching them, Coach, they just a few pieces away on offense and defense to really compete. They competing, but they're not when it gets to the second half, that playmaker to push them above. They don't have it. They don't have it, man. Mississippi Valley Delta Devils continue to struggle. Jackson State beats Texas Southern 43-14. In the game I want to talk about that went to 5 overtimes that we watched. We was going back and forth in the chat about Prairie View A&M upsets in Grambling State 36-34. Now, Coach, me and you know there wasn't really no upset because we know how the SWAC go. But everybody named Mama picked Grambling State to win.
Well,
what's your thoughts about this game?
Well, the reason why everybody picked Grambling to win was because if you look at the way Jackson State beat down Southern, and then last week at Eddie Robinson Stadium, Grambling handled Jackson State convincingly. And for Prairie View to turn around and beat Grambling, that's why I say the SWAC West is wide open. Anybody can win the SWAC West. If you look at Southern played Meeting East close and they really should have won. And in recent history, Alcorn State is the only team to beat McNeese State, and when I mean beat them period from the SWAC. And then McNeese State turn around and they put the beat down on Alcorn State. I mean, they're going to show you whether we're talking about Southern, Prairie View, Grambling, Alcorn State, Texas Southern. Like the SWAC West is wide open. Literally any team in the SWAC West, be it Southern, be it Grambling, be it Alcorn State, be it Prairie View, any one of those teams in the SWAC West could win the SWAC West. So that's why I say, it's up to the Jags to really keep doing anything and keep moving forward. Of course, they had a bye yesterday, but I wasn't moved by Noah. When is Xavier and ZT set gonna return? He should be back in, if not this week, then maybe the following week. But either way, Southern need to get the quarterback situation straight, and they need to get back to it because the SWAC West is winnable. I mean, truthfully speaking, you could be 6-5 and 7-4 and win the SWAC West. 7 wins to the SWAC West easy,
Ask Fred McNair. He's been famous. You remember that Alcorn State team faced Devontae Kincaid and Grambling that 2016 year?
Yeah.
For the SWAC championship. So yeah, you're not lying. We've seen it before.
Well, truthfully speaking, I mean, not just Fred McNair, but look at
Southern too.
Yeah, not Southern. Look at Eric Dooley. Back-to-back years, he kind of backed his way into the SWAC championship game. That year, they played against J-State when he was at Prairie View. Then the next year, Southern. Both of those years, he backed into the SWAC championship game. If you ask me, that's why Jaguar Nation really wasn't moved by, that SWAC championship appearance by Southern. If he'd have handled it properly, I mean, even if Glenda Buff McDaniel wasn't able to get you a win, he proved the year before against Shador Sanders led Jackson State team. They barely beat Southern year before. And, you put Bashawn McCray, who's a glorified running back, playing quarterback, and you get the doors blown off. And then you get to the SWAC championship game, you spot him 26 points. He comes in the game and he plays well. If you put him in the game, if you start him, you win the game. And even if you don't win, it's a competitive game. So that's why Jaguar Nation was dismayed and highly agitated with Eric Dooley, and the fact that he's the offensive coordinator at Grambling, and the fact that Jason Rollins is the defensive coordinator at Grambling, is a member of Jaguar Nation. That's the best place for the two of them, because neither one of them did themselves any favors when they were the head coach and interim head coach at Southern. I mean, just think about it. You talk about how Southern should have beat McNeese State this year. The year Jason Rollins was the interim head coach. At halftime, they was beating McNeese State 21-10, and then they turned around and come back and lost the game 21-24. And if I'm not mistaken, either he went to Northwestern State or McNeese State. He went to one of those Southern Conference schools, and I'm thinking to myself, you need to be coaching there. You don't need to coach at Southern. So the fact that Grambling, that Mickey Joseph took the both of them, and he could have them, because they didn't do us any favors at on the bluff of A.W. Mumford State and Peterson Field. Jaguar Nation was happy that the both of them gone.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But shout out to Shelton, Mr. Shelton, LDBC or nothing, Brock Purdy or nothing, MVP. Oh Lord,
man, hey, I'm gonna have to adopt the saying of my good brother Joseph Townsend. He said, "Mr. Shelton from Mississippi, he a 49ers fan."
How that work? Which they are beating the Patriots right now. So,
hey,
man, y'all get out of here with that.
Man, hey, Mr. Shelton,
the Patriots.
Mr. Shelton should be a member of Who That Nation. So, I mean,
facts. Salute my brother, Soul Power, aka Gained Up Kennels. He said, "Salute, go good brother. Salute my brother."
Man, salute, bro. Me and you gonna have to link up, Soul Power, man. We gotta link up. Bro.
Yeah, please link up with the brother coach, man. Definitely, I'll be tuning in. We got to talk about this, man. Travis Hunter conversation topic. Okay. Um, a lot of people are saying that he deserves the Heisman. I agree. But what a lot of people are afraid of is how uh the Heisman works. If a lot of times and players like Jaden Daniels kind of destroy that theory, but a lot of people are scared that Travis Hunter may get screwed uh from basically even getting a shot at being in the running of the Heisman. Because a lot of times teams that are in the playoffs and they have a player that's highly recommended, those type players are in the Heisman running. Not all the time, but most of the time. Now we can look at Jaden Daniels. That LSU team wasn't all that great, but homie won the Heisman. But with Travis Hunter, uh, a lot of people are afraid that he may not even be picked for the Heisman conversation. JB, what is your thoughts on that?
I think, like, I mean, first of all, the Heisman is like a wide receiver QB dominated race. So I'm glad to see somebody other than the QB or wide receiver. Um, well, somebody of Travis Hunter ilk, because he's still a wide receiver. Um, get attention. I think he deserves it. Nobody else is doing what he's doing in college football. Not saying I think I mean, if you do research, I think there's other players that do it, that do play both sides of the ball, but I don't see it. So, um, Travis Hunter is balling. Now, everybody in this panel, we have our issues with Coach Prime and, some of the things he's done, regard to, like inviting Ryan Garcia to the camp and just football stuff like play style, like coaching stuff like that. But other than that, we support Coach Sanders and his son. But everybody talking about Shador, even though Shador is, I believe he is one of the best QBs in the nation. Travis Hunter is
Is that dude,
the
man?
best player in the nation. He
Period.
is. You know, um, he doesn't take plays off on defense, and he balls out on offense. So, I mean, and Jared, me and you are, we had to play some of that in high school. Iron Man football, playing both sides of the ball. So we understand how difficult that is, um,
Stamina wise, yes.
stamina wise, um, wear and tear wise. So I'm just happy he's getting consideration. I'll keep my eye out on him.
Okay, okay. And before I go to you, Coach, let me welcome my brother. He's not feeling well, but still joining us, which I appreciate it. Big Joe, LDBC Business. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, family? You can't keep a player down. You dig what I'm saying? What's up with y'all? How y'all doing today?
Salute to you, Big Joe.
What's good?
Town.
What's going on with you, JB? What up, coach?
Blessed and highly favored, bro.
Yes, sir. We just enjoying this football action, man. I'm watching Cleveland up on Vegas, but Vegas just scored. But yeah, man. But right now we just talking about the Travis Hunter Heisman conversation. Uh, whether is he going to get screwed on being recommended for the Heisman, or is he going to even have a shot? Um, in our opinion, he should definitely. He's the best player in football right now. Coach, what's your opinion?
In all actuality, bro, I think it's a little bit early for me to have the Heisman conversation. I think he's playing well. He kind of reminds me of he's having, this might be a little bit before your time. He's having a Charles Woodson season to this point in the season, but it's still kind of early. We only, probably about 4 weeks in. So I think it's a conversation for me that really needs to be had like later on in the season. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how things shake out. Let's be realistic. Colorado's not going to be a playoff contender, and you are correct. Is that something Heisman voters are really going to take into consideration? The fact that the Colorado doesn't play in the SEC, and they're not in contention for the playoffs. And, these are some things that I'm taking into consideration. But one thing I noticed yesterday is I know one Heisman vote he won't get, and in my opinion, that's the Cam Newton vote. Because of him snubbing him before the game yesterday. But that's another conversation for another day, though.
We can talk about it, man. We can definitely talk about it. But good point, man. Good point. Shout out to my brother Big Reg, man. Big Reg hosts a Big Boy Talk. What's good, everybody? What's good, man? Appreciate you stopping by. And Big Joe, what's your thoughts on the I know it's early, like Coach said, but the Travis Hunter Heisman conversations that's going on. What's your feedback on that?
Um, yeah, I actually know somebody who has a Heisman vote, and I was talking to him briefly yesterday. But
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be hard for Travis to win the Heisman, even though what he's doing is remarkable. He's playing both ways, and he'll score a touchdown and he'll get a pick and all that kind of stuff, and they're comparing him to Charles Woodson. You know, that all sounds good, but a lot of factors have to go into it. A lot of these voters, they're gonna look at stats, they're gonna look at the impact you have on a game, and also they're gonna look at, the team success. So but like y'all said, the hardest thing is Colorado probably not gonna be a playoff team. Again, Jane Daniels won last year and the team wasn't so hot, but they're gonna look at that, his impact in the stats. Now, he's playing both ways, he's getting the pick, he's getting the interception, but he only had like what 89 or like 98 receiving yards yesterday. He got a touchdown in a pick, but his numbers are not godly like numbers. So they're gonna look into all that. Now, if you getting 220, a touchdown, and you got a pick, you know, it's gonna be hard for you to have 98 yards, one catch, one pick when you got Milrose doing what he did yesterday. You got Cam Ward doing what he was doing yesterday. You know what I mean? When the quarterback position, you're gonna put up all those great numbers. It's gonna look impressive on the stat sheet, even though what he's doing is impressive in the game. They're gonna see what the numbers looking like. So he's gonna have to get his stats up. 150, 200, two tugs, and an interception. I know they want to compare him to Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson didn't play much offense, but he also returned punt.
Yeah, that
So
was
he
good.
got a lot of punt returns for touchdowns, and Travis Hunter, he don't return punts. Now, if Travis Hunter returns a couple punts for touchdowns or kickoffs or whatnot, hey, it might get interesting. But his, according to our measurements of what we know, what he's doing is extremely hard. I played both ways in high school. I think we all did. College is definitely hard as well.
Hmm.
But they're gonna want to see them numbers, and he need to get them numbers up. And it'll make it competitive. But from what I'm understanding, from what I've been told, is Melrose's and Cam Ward's Heisman to lose. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Okay. And let me tell you how I know you ain't lying, Big Joe. Um, y'all remember this may be before this was before my time a little bit, but I'm football head, so I'm history buff. Y'all remember Tim Dwight from Iowa in
Yeah, I remember him.
1997?
I remember him.
And when you brought up Charles Woodson was a returner for Tim Dwight in that 1997 year to be even considered as a Heisman uh, front runner. He finished seventh. He was a kick returner. and he was a decent receiver as well. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. If he would, but I don't think Coach Prime gonna throw him in as a kick returner or punt returner.
But I
Uh,
mean, but the thing about it is though, Big Joe brought up some excellent points. But not only that, but people don't realize the year Charles Woodson won the Heisman. Like Big Joe said, he was a heck of a shutdown corner, but he had big moments. He had the big punt returns and big games, and he had the big fight with David Boston. You know, at the big house when Michigan and Ohio State played against each other. Like those are memorable moments that stood out in the Heisman voters' mind that kind of gave Charles Woodson that edge over Peyton Manning. So I don't see Travis Hunter being in position or a situation where he can have those big moments. Even if you look at like Jaden Daniels last year, for my LSU fans like Joe Burrow, like they had like memorable moments and they had impact plays in those moments because of the stage that they were on, the conference that they're in. Uh, you know, Even though LSU didn't like the world on fire last year, Jaden Daniels had like memorable moments. I mean, I'm not saying Travis Hunter is not gonna have big plays, but the fact that he plays for Colorado, I mean, they're not in the SEC, and they're not gonna be in playoff contention. So, truthfully speaking, I'm gonna have to kind of co-sign with Big Joe said. It's early, but
I see. Yeah, I agree. I see what you talk about. Like dudes like in college now. I'm not comparing Tim Dwight to Charles Woodson, but in college, them cats were everywhere. Like Tim Dwight was, you could put him at running back, receiver, kick return, punt return. Same thing with Charles Woodson. So don't get me wrong. Like Big Joe said, and you're saying, Coach, what Travis Hunter doing is freakish. Like just having the
oh, without
stamina
question, without question.
to play both sides at this level, man, against these athletes. It's I don't care who says otherwise. Is remarkable. It's amazing actually. But as far as to win the Heisman, uh, you can you got to be Charles Wilson or Tim Dwight S to win it.
Right. To add to your point, Jared, for that '97 race that Charles Woodson won, Charles Woodson voted number one. Number two was Peyton Manning. Number three was Brian Leaf. Number four was Randy Moss, and number five was Ricky Williams. That's a hell of a Heisman class right there.
It is.
Damn near all those guys went to the NFL. Even though Ryan Leaf phased out, he still was a top NFL pick. So but yeah, to your point, Jerry, you can be a freakish athlete all you want. You can jump as high, run as you and run as fast as you want to. That don't add nothing to your voting. You know what I mean? So he's just gonna have to get his stats up. It's gonna be hard for a guy sitting at the desk who never played sports before to vote for a guy if you don't know what it's like to play both ways. From what we see and all the athletes see it, yeah, he's freak in nature. He shouldn't be doing that. He has triathlon stamina and whatnot, but they're gonna look at them numbers. Maybe get a couple pick sixes. What I mean, maybe get again 200 plus receiving yards. Get a reverse to run all the way for a touchdown. He gonna need stuff like that to get him over a Cam Ward or a Milrose who took over the whole game yesterday. Alabama don't win that game without Milrose, and they beat
At all.
Georgia, and they beat Georgia,
Facts.
dog walk Georgia. So I mean, them games like that is how you win the Heisman, and just Travis need to just get some more of those. Then if Colorado beats a high ranking team and whatnot, and they win, he'll get in there, but he needs a memorable game. It's like how Mills Rose got one yesterday. Now, Cam Ward is going to struggle now in the Heisman race because they should have beat who was it? Who they Virginia Tech. They should have beat them easily, but they struggled and he had 2 or 3 picks. That's
Yep.
gonna hurt him.
Yep.
So
People look at
again,
that.
like Coach said, it's still early, but he needs some big games and big moments, and he'll be right up in there.
Thanks, man. Y'all cooking, man. JB, any thoughts before we move on?
I think Ward to be all right. They was, even though I love them, I love my UNC Tar Heel quarterbacks, but they were trying to give it to Drake May, even though he dropped a couple of games to Virginia when they only won one game and stuff like that. So Ward should be all right. Just make sure he just, you know, continue beating the teams they should beat. It's the ACC, man.
But what about Travis Hunter? You think he got it based on what brother Big Joe and Coach have educated us and even gave us some historical facts?
Well, I
You,
think they grilled it, they barbecued it well. That point, them points well, man. It's going to be hard, and like he said, it needs more. I mean, like you stated, man. I don't think it's smart to put your, you know, I'm not a fan of putting your best players at punt return or kick return, not unless you have to. You know, maybe the Ravens used to do that with Ed Reed every once in a while. They can do that every once in a while, but I'm just not a fan of that. Or like Town said, give them some jet sweeps or something like that. But um, returning a long interception return, he's just gonna have to keep grinding, man. But like I said, like the brother said, we see what he's doing. It's incredible because cornerback and wide receiver, you have to have stamina to play those positions, and cornerback is the hardest position to play. So, hey,
it's one of them. Still think offensive line is hard. Hard and
yeah,
D and
no
D
question.
D, D line ain't no slouch either. But that's just me. But anyway, moving on, fellas. Any before I move on, any other final words on this topic?
Oh, and one last thing, one thing you have to realize is a lot of times we talk about Heisman races. You might have a guy that's a front runner, like Drew Brees was when he was at Purdue. Geno Atkins was when he was at West Virginia. Like 6 weeks in, and then at the end of the season, like they're not even in the top five. So the fact that you say somebody like Tim Dwight, he was in the Heisman running. I promise he wasn't in the Heisman running at the end of the year that year. So a lot of times these guys might be front runners like week 6, week 7. But I mean, unless you standing tall, like at the end of the season, a lot of times if it's week 5, week 6, you've been a Heisman front runner. It really doesn't mean anything.
He was Tim Dwight. Tim Dwight was still top 10, but you're right. He fell out the top 4.
Yeah, well, I was aware of that. That's what I was saying. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of time, like I said, at one point, Drew Brees, like week 5, week 6, he was like the Heisman front runner. He wasn't even in the rankings at the end. And like I said, the same with Geno Atkins, not Geno Atkins, quarterback for the Seahawks,
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith. Yeah, Geno Smith was the front runner, and he wasn't even in the top 5 after like week 6, week 7. One bad, all it takes is one bad game, and you done.
That's true. That's true. All right, but moving on, fellas. Moving on. Let's talk about this NFL action that's going on, man. Uh, we had some good games. So this morning that went on. So for example, trying to get the scores. So of course we Thursday we had Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys beat. No, I'm sorry, Big Joe. I'm still. You want to go ahead and you feel up to doing the scores for me?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, let me go ahead and get it together.
No problem. Take your time. Vegas trying to come back.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. All right, so these are the games for the NFL Week 4. We had the game on Thursday, which was a lackluster game against the Cowboys and the Giants. Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. Very lackluster, very boring. This
Yes.
game showed me that the Cowboys are not ready to be a playoff team. The Giants are struggling. Um, Daniels is not that guy. There's a lot of balls he throws, especially the neighbors, where neighbors literally had to wait for him. You know what I mean? He's not leading his receivers. So with it, even with the Giants having a lackluster talent, quarterback that can't really deliver anything, they still must beat the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are just not there when it comes to being a good team. So moving on. So then today on Sunday, the Broncos played the Jets. The Broncos beat the Jets 10-9. Bo Nix only had 60 yards passing, and they still beat the Jets with the all of Aaron Rodgers' greatness. So this lets you know, the Jets need to do a lot more camaraderie stuff. I guess Aaron Rodgers probably shouldn't have been hiding in caves. Should have been at minicamp. Anyways, so we got the Vikings and Packers. The Vikings won 31-29. The Vikings are looking like the front runners for the NFC. The Packers, Jordan Love came back his first game today, struggled early on. He ain't played in those several weeks, so he's getting his chemistry together, but they almost came back. But the Vikings, again, they still won 31-29. They are the front runners for the NFC. And then the Saints and the Falcons, very close game. A lot of folks had the Saints winning this game. This game I wanted to see if the Saints were legit or if the Falcons were legit. And we saw that the Saints could not get it done. They started off very hot in the season, but they seem to be slowing down back to the old New Orleans Saints. And the Falcons feel like they made a good choice in getting Mr. You Like That because y'all got like this score 26-24. Falcons win. Then we got the Eagles and the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers beat the Eagles 33-16. The Eagles are very sloppy, very sloppy. They just don't have the talent. Some people were questioning, is Jalen Hurts that guy? Well, this game shows that he might not be that guy. You got a brand new contract, everything's going well, but you know, you should not be losing to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers win. They show that they are a front runner to win the NFC South. So shout out to the Buccaneers winning 33-16. And then also we have the Bengals playing the Panthers. The Bengals won 34-24. Very, very competitive game for the Panthers. I don't believe in moral victories, so Andy Dalton went in there. He's replacing Bryce Young. Everybody's saying Bryce Young is not the answer. Well, since they lost today, it looked like Aaron Dalton's not the answer either, even though they're playing competitively. In the NFL, this is a win or lose business. So shout out to the Bengals. I believe they're getting their first victory of the season, I believe. So Joe Burrow, he almost got hurt in this game. So if he can stay healthy, I think the Bengals have an opportunity. But in the NFL, it's one season, it's one game at a time. So shout out to the first win for the Bengals, 34-24 over the Panthers. And then we also have the Texans and the Jaguars, which went down to the last minute of the game. You have two young quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence and also C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud showed up at the end with a touchdown with 5 seconds to go in the game. So shout out to the Texans for winning 24-20. Trevor Lawrence, a lot of rumblings now to see if he's the guy. I think he's like 0-10 now. He hasn't won a game in like the last 10 games. So
Dang.
is Trevor Lawrence that guy with the Jaguars? Or the Jaguars one of those organizations that are just not going to win because they got poor leadership? Either way, a lot of questions in that organization. Shout out to the Texans for getting back in the winning column, 24-20. And then we have the Steelers and the Colts. The game of the two young quarterbacks. The Steelers lose 24-27 to the Colts. Anthony Richardson, he got hurt. In comes, y'all should know him, Joe Flacco, Joe Fluco,
Cool.
whoever you want to call him, Joe Cool, Joe Flacco, Joe Fluco. Either way, he stepped in and got the win, 27-24. The Steelers, Justin Fields tried to come back and win, but that inexperience showed up on some of those plays. I feel like Justin Fields holds the balls too much, which caused them to fumble the ball, and then the Colts got it back, but they came back to try to win. But again, unbelievable moral victories. Steelers lost, so it's 24-27 Colts. Shout out to Joe Flacco stepping in and earning his paycheck. And then we also have the Rams versus the Bears. The Bears beat the Rams 24-18. Good win for Caleb Williams. He needs to get some wins on his belt, more experience he's getting. The Rams are a solid team. They beat they beat the Niners last week and whatnot. So, the Rams are a solid team. So this was a solid win for the Bears, 24-18. So back to you, Jared.
And that was the brother Big Joe with the NFL Week 4 recap. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, thank you. Um, Current games going on right now are like the Chiefs and the Chargers. Chiefs are down. Chargers are up 10-0. Raiders tied up the Browns 10-10. They were down 10 10-0, and then it was 10-7. Now they're tied the game up. And of course, we have the 49ers beating the brakes out of the Patriots 20-0. And the Commanders are up on the Cardinals 17-7. And let me see how Jaden Daniels are doing. Yeah. Well, he threw a pick, just not 11 for 13, 95 yards, but he's managing the game pretty well because they win. But and of course we got the Ravens versus the Bills. Josh Allen versus the Ravens. 7:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6:20 Central Standard Time if you live in the central area. But and then tomorrow's gonna be the Titans and Dolphins and Seahawks and Lions. But coach, what's going on with your Saints, man?
Like Big Joe was saying, just like last year, the Saints got off to a good start last year. The Saints were 2-0 last year, then 2-2, and then it went downhill. Same thing this year. The first week they played against the Carolina Panthers. That was a give me game. We knew that going into the game. They put the beat down on Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. I also kind of want to co-sign something else Big Joe said. Truthfully speaking, I think them pulling Bryce Young and putting the red pellet gun, Andy Dalton, in that starting quarterback, I think that was a bad move. I think you set this young man up for failure. This is on his second year in the NFL. He got a second different head coach, second different offensive coordinator. You set that young man up for failure. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a division rival, but I want him to succeed. I want him to do well as a black quarterback. And I think they put him in a no-win type situation. Now, back to my Saints. Taysom Hill got hurt against the Cowgirls. And that kind of took away something from their offense. He gives them a different dynamic in short yardage type situations. And it's obvious if you look at last week's game with the Eagles in the second half of the Saints. When he's not in the lineup, something is missing. Also, you have to look at the fact that Eric McCoy, the Saints starting center, he was out. He got hurt last week against the Eagles, and even before he got hurt, the Saints offensive line was struggling against the Eagles because the Eagles, the way the NFL is, if teams see you play on film, they can make adjustments and they know how to match up to what you do. The Saints, the first couple weeks, with Clint Kubiak's, zone running scheme. One thing, but Derek Carr, I said that the first 2 weeks he looked like Superman. This week and last week he looks like an average quarterback, and pretty much he is who we thought he is. He's the guy we thought he was. That's who he is. He's not a Drew Brees like he looked like the first couple weeks. When you playing against inferior competition, it's easy for you to look otherworldly. But when you play against a team that has a pulse, it's different. So last week, what the Eagles defense did to take away that zone run, basically what they did was they just kind of went heavy across the front four and they can run the ball off the edge like they did the first 2 weeks against the Cowgirls and the Panthers. And the thing that really got exposed with Derek Carr this week and last week, when he has an excellent running game to support him and he has a clean pocket, he looks otherworldly. But when you struggle to run the ball and he doesn't have a clean pocket, he's a average at best quarterback and sometimes even mediocre quarterback. So, last week he got exposed with the Eagles. It was a winnable game. It not only did it expose Derek Carr, but it also exposed Dennis Allen in terms of being a head coach from the standpoint of game management, decision making. He made terrible decisions. If you look at last week's game, AJ Brown wasn't there. Devontae Smith got hurt. There's only one person that could hurt you in this long yardage situation. They got to go down the field. And basically, instead of you playing zone, playing to the sticks, you play man to man, and two of your defensive backs running into each other. Dallas got like a 60-yard reception, run out the catch. So I'm like, man, that situation you play zone, and even if you do play man to man, you double the one guy that's kind of pretty much been hurting you the whole second half. So to me, that was stupid. The same thing again this week. First of all, I was agitated with Rashid Shaheed as a punt returner. The first punt of the game, I'm like, dude, you're standing on the 4. Why are you fielding this punt? The ball hit him in the shoulder pad area, goes into the end zone. The Falcons recover it. And the crazy thing about it is the Falcons win this game by 2 points, and they did not even score an offensive touchdown the entire game. They got one touchdown from a pick six where basically they tried to set up a screen, and one of the Falcons defensive linemen knocked the ball in the air. Linebacker intercepted, ran it back for a touchdown. And like I said, the fumble punt in the end zone by Rashid Shaheed, those 2 touchdowns was the only 2 touchdowns that the Falcons really scored. They didn't score an offensive touchdown the entire game. They ended up winning by 2 points. So it's back to the drawing board. But like I was saying, you up one. They need a field goal. Like, I don't understand why he playing press coverage. Paulson, the Debo, is pretty handsy. If you look at, this season, last season, he had like a ridiculous amount of PI penalty calls against him. Why would you put him in press coverage in that situation for him to get a pass interference call and basically to move the Falcons down the field? That was all the Falcons really need to get them in field position. And, man, they made a 58-yard field goal to win the game by 2 points. And the spread was 2.5 points, and it's crazy. So at the end of the day, after this year, as a Saints fan, I want Dennis Allen to be gone as a head coach. I want Derek Carr to be gone as a starting quarterback. I wouldn't throw Spencer Rattler in the fire right now.
No, I wouldn't either.
But next year, yeah, all right, hey, let's see what you could do. Let's get another head coach. My choice would be, first and foremost, I would try to get Eric Bieniemy. If I couldn't get Eric Bieniemy, if you want to go for an old coach that's been around the block, I always thought he was overrated, but it'll be interesting to see what Bill Belichick could do in New Orleans. Right now, that's the only 2 real candidates I see. That's what I would want. But that's my take on the whole situation. Dennis Allen is, in my opinion, in terms of game management, I think he's a terrible head coach, and I think Derek Carr is average at best to mediocre quarterback.
Okay.
Hey, coach, I got a question for you.
Yeah, Big Joe.
Now, I'm looking at these stats over here. Kirk Cousins didn't have a passing touchdown.
He didn't.
The Falcons.
In fact, the Falcons.
Hold on, brother. I got you, brother.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, brother. The Falcons did not have a passing touchdown or a rushing touchdown. So how the hell did y'all lose this game?
Well, if you was listening closely, Big Joe, the Falcons did not score an offensive touchdown all game. What transpired
Mhm.
is when the Saints defense got their first stop of the game, the first point of the game, Rashid Shaheed, like one of your
Mhm.
best bright young stars. He's standing on the 4-yard line. I'm thinking to myself, why is he fielding his punt? The ball hit him in like the shoulder pad, face mask area.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
ball
saw
rolled
that. Yeah, recovered in the end zone. Yeah.
and they recovered it. That's 7-0. Saints get the ball on offense. They drive down the field. They score a touchdown. Then the Saints get another stop. The Saints go down the field and score a touchdown. The Saints have the ball, and they're up 7 points. And one of the Falcons' defensive linemen knocked they tried to run a tunnel screen, I think, to either Rashid Shaheed or Chris Olave or Evan Kamara, one of them 3 players. And he knocked the ball in the air because what Carr tried to do is he tried to pump fake it and then side on it. But the D lineman didn't go for the pump fake. And when he side on him, he just knocked it in the air. One of the Falcons' defensive players catch it, run it for a touchdown. So now we're back to 14-14. The Saints kind of go 3 and out. The Falcons go down the field, kick a field goal, 17-14. That was the score at half. And basically, it ended up pretty much trading field goals. The Falcons ended up kicking another field goal. So for the most part, the Falcons kick a field goal. They go up 6. Then the Saints cut it, whatever. And then at the end, when they were up 6, the Saints got the ball. They go down the field. They score a touchdown. Well, like a minute and some change to go up by 1 point. But like I was saying back to Dennis Allen, like Paulson Debo has a tendency to get pass interference calls against him. Like the Falcons have no timeouts, and there might be about 50 seconds left in the game. They're on like the 30, 35. Like, why would you put Paulson Debo in press coverage? Like Raheem Morris gave you the blueprint. He playing Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed did not have like a long pass over the top like they do all these other teams. They didn't have won the whole game. You know why? Because the Falcons played off. They let them make their catches underneath, and they ran to the ball. They made the tackle. So I blame that on Dennis Allen. Well, Shaheed shouldn't have fielded the punt on the 4, but he made up for it in terms of his good play. But to me, I blame Dennis Allen, bro. Like in that situation, like they got to go down the field. They got to get in field goal range. Like, why is he playing all this press coverage, bro? Man, that's stupid.
Oh no, I hear you. No, I was watching the game and everything, so I hear you, bro. I know the kicker, Young Hoku, he got 14 points by himself.
Yo, and
But
he made a 58-yard
yeah,
field goal.
yeah, he got a leg on him. Yeah.
I'm like, dang, bro.
But if I told you, Coach, Kirk Cousins ain't gonna have no touchdowns. Bijan Robinson ain't gonna have no touchdowns. You think, oh man, we gonna win this game? Hey, bro, this just shows you sometimes stats gonna lie to you. You gotta watch the whole game.
Oh yeah, without question.
That's facts. You ain't lying on that.
Well,
gospel. That's the gospel.
One other point I want to add, former Ravens head coach Brian Billick, he was big in the analytics before this modern day and age, and he had this stat where if you lose the turnover margin by +2 or more, that team that lose that turnover margin, they lose the game like 80% of the time. If a team returns like a interception, a punt for a touchdown, they win that game like 80% of the time. So even though they didn't score one offensive touchdown, you got to realize you fumbled a punt and they recovered it for a touchdown, and they also returned a interception for a touchdown. So they didn't score one offensive touchdown, but they got 7 points on special teams and 7 points on defense. So if you look at the 80%, like Brian Billick's his chart for like if you give up X amount of explosive plays, if you lose the turnover margin by +2 or more, and blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna lie, this win it kind of, even though they won a close game, it kind of fits into Brian Billick's analytics chart from a coaching standpoint. This was like a book I read from Brian Billick, like what I think like maybe 10, 15 years ago, whatever it was. But I'm not gonna lie, if you look at his analytics breakdown, the Falcons were supposed to win this game based on his analytics chart.
I mean, you have the special teams count for damn near 21 points or all the points to win the game, but you ain't paying the kicker no $200 million. You paying that to Kirk Cousins. So
Yeah.
No. I agree 100%. But just to think, I mean, he, he's supposed to be one of your big time players, and he due for a big contract. Like, bro, you cannot make that type of mistake to start off the game. You know what I'm saying? And truthfully speaking, the same offensive line issues you had with Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz being out, the Falcons also, their starting center and their starting right tackle was out. But at a certain point in the game, the Saints front line, I mean, you have a good front four with of course, they move Cam Jordan in pass rushing situations. They move him from defensive end to defensive tackle. You had Peyton Turner. You got Chase Young. You got Carl Granderson. At certain points in the game, especially like in the second half, like they couldn't get no pass rush on Kirk Cousins, but yet every time you look around, Derek Carr is under constant pressure. So I don't understand, like, what was going on. So I mean, it's a lot of little things that the analytics and the stats really don't say. So I'm not gonna lie, they should have, could have won, but hey, like my coach used to tell me, hey, this ain't no shoulda, woulda, coulda. Either you win or you lose, and hey, this is the second close game in a row they lost. So I mean, hey, you don't get no, like you said earlier, there's no more victories. You don't get no bonus points for losing by 3 to the Eagles, and I think if I'm not mistaken, that's the Eagles' only win. And not only that, but losing by 2 points on the road to a division rival, man, that means nothing to me. You should have won both of those games. You should be 4-0 instead of 2-2 at this point.
Facts. Okay. Well, let me show you guys this that Big Joe showed me. We gonna talk about it. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Our guy here said a quote: "They wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football for guys who weren't having as much fun." It's funny because you've made this environment for me very stressful up here in the booth, so I understand where he's coming from.
Do you feel it?
No.
Feel the stress? No. Well, I was going to say, I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. So there was a mindset of a champion that I took to work every day. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids.
Yeah. So as you were saying, go ahead. That's you feel like I feel like there's more in there to say.
There's a way to approach this game.
Yeah.
And it's that with the right mindset and try to push each other outside of our comfort zone. And great teammates do that. You come in, I have someone like Gronkowski, I have someone like Evans. There's high expectations for us. We got to make sure we go out there and deliver.
The competitive juice is still flowing.
It's still in there.
I love
no
it.
apologies.
All right. So basically, did y'all hear that?
Yeah, we heard it.
All right. So basically, Tom Brady taking shots at Baker Mayfield for the comment he made about him claiming that the Buccaneers didn't have fun under Tom Brady. And you just heard Tom Brady's response. So, Big Joe, since you originally sent it to me, what was your thoughts on that, man?
I don't know. I just thought that was
Fair use.
Oh, fair use. Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious, because a lot of times you hear the whole thing about, oh, we're playing the kids' game. Oh, it's, if you're not having fun, then, what's the whole point? All that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, some folks got to understand that the NFL is a business. And if you want to stay in business, you need to win. So Tom Brady is used to winning. You can have all the fun you can have after the season. When it's your time to yourself, you can do whatever you want. But when we in the locker room and we on the field, we trying to win. I believe everybody's mission statement in the beginning of the year is we want to win the Super Bowl. Nobody says, you know what, we're going to do what we can do. Whatever happens, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Ain't nobody doing that. If you don't win in the NFL, you're going to lose your job. So it's fun when you're winning. It sucks when you're losing. So, it's interesting, got a guy like Baker Mayfield, he's been around 3 or 4 teams. He got a contract extension with the Bucs, talking about having bring back having fun in the locker room. They brought me here to have fun. Well, they brought Tom Brady there and they won a Super Bowl. I wonder, can you do the same thing? But NFL is a business. When you win, you're having fun. When you have Osborne, the greatest quarterback of all time, talking about culture, winning culture, we're there to work. We're there to strive for a common goal, not an individual goal, but a common goal to win the Super Bowl. Whether if I have to sacrifice, or whether if I'm Tom Brady and I got to take a pay cut so other guys can stay here, I'll do what I have to do so we can win. So, shout out to TB12. And if he says something, it is what it is. But the whole fact that, it's a kid's game and you gotta have fun. Yeah, all that's true. But when you're winning, you're having fun. So, we have a perfect example. We got a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster. He was having fun making TikTok videos, but was he performing on the field? Absolutely not. So business is business.
Hell no.
No, not at all. And shout out to the sister, Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She said, hello, everyone. Hi, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. But I always admired that mindset. Look at Michael Jordan. You may not be likable in person, but you gotta have a little a-hole about you to compete in sports like this, especially the NFL. So you can't be buddy like Big Joe just said. Can't be 1, 2, 3 Cancun. No, you have to. Everybody has to be locked in. You know what I mean? So I agree.
And that just shows you certain mindsets of players. This is a great segment and great point to bring up, but couple of last week, Lamar Jackson got on Marlon Humphreys from after the win against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He went live. And Lamar Jackson was like, bro, man, instead of being live, you need to be locked in. Because to be honest with you, the Cowboys is not a good team. We should have blown them out by 30. And Lamar Jackson was you can see it in his face. He was frustrated, and that's just the difference between greatness. And that young man always had that mindset. He was more of quiet his first couple of years in the league, but these last
2 years,
recent 2 years, he's been more vocal. He's been getting on his lineman ass about not being set, getting on his receivers about not being where they're supposed to be. So I'm loving it, man. And Tom Brady is exactly right, man. Some people just want to check. Some people just want to be, how we used to call it, jersey wearers. And some people actually want to win football games. So.
Facts, man. And Coach, what you think about what we just heard from Tom Brady?
Well, I think both of those brothers are 100% accurate. They really cooked on that particular topic. I think the thing about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and those type of players, I saw this special this morning, like this segment. I really don't watch NFL game day like I used to back in the gap, on ESPN or whatever. But truthfully speaking, I think Baker Mayfield, he kind of found his groove and found his stride. And he's in a better situation now than he was when he was in Cleveland and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, he's not on Tom Brady's level. It's not like, Big Joe said, it's not about having fun. I will disagree with the whole Michael Jordan thing because don't get me wrong. I didn't think Michael Jordan needed to be, the nicest guy in the world on the court. But from what I understood, Michael Jordan was a butthole in real life. And I'm from South Louisiana. We pride ourselves on treating people the way we want to be treated. So, the stories with like him and Chameleon there with the auction situation and that type of thing. Like, hey, bro, like your playing career was over when that situation happened. That didn't have nothing to do with, winning those 6 championships you won with the Bulls. Like, you didn't need to treat that brother like that. So my thing is, I don't care if you're a trillionaire. I feel like you should treat people the way you want to be treated. But I agree with Big Joe and JB's standpoint of, basically Baker Mayfield. This last year was like the first like decent season he had his whole NFL career, considering he's the number 1 overall pick. So that go to show you that his mindset and Tom Brady's mindset is different. Now, I don't agree with the whole notion of Brady being the greatest QB of all time. But even with that being said, he's a GOAT. He's in that GOAT conversation. He's a legend. And nobody's going to ever say that about Baker Mayfield. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna be truthful. As a member of Who That Nation and as a Saints fan, I'd rather be on the opposite side of Baker Mayfield as opposed to, having TB12 on the other side of the field. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
I hear you, Coach. I hear you, man. Any other lasting words on this this topic?
No, sir.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Talk about people liking you. Yeah. You continue. If you lose games, we gonna see how much people like you.
Yeah, because guess what? Losing ain't fun. When you losing, you ain't having fun. Trust me.
Hell no.
Nope, not at all.
I remember specifically my first year in college. We didn't have a good team our first year. So like probably around like the 5th to 6th game of the season, we still got a chance to get into a bowl game. On the sidelines, I heard some players, "Whoo, oh man, nigga just got beat. Niggas got beat for a touchdown." They come off the sideline, they sit down. "Whoo, oh man. All right, man, what we doing? We're going to Florida in the offseason? We're going to Jamaica, what we doing?" And this during the middle of the game.
Damn.
Niggas in week 6, niggas is planning on what we're gonna do in the offseason. We still can get into a bowl game, all that kind of stuff. But that's the mindset that, a lot of college teams or NFL teams have. Some teams know they ain't good, so they're gonna go out there and do their best. But in the NFL, no matter if you winning or losing, you're gonna be on tape. You know what I mean? They're gonna see the eye in the sky don't lie. Either you put in the effort or you're not. You dig what I'm saying? So you can be an 0-12 team, but if you playing until your last drop, another team gonna want you. You know what I mean? We see a lot of Super Bowl winning teams. As soon as they win, their whole team get purged because everybody wants that recipe to success. But that it's a whole culture. You have the Buccaneers wanted Tom Brady. They needed Tom Brady. They sought after Tom Brady. They just brought in Baker Mayfield to see, all right, man, we're gonna see what you're gonna do. Big difference.
In fact, in all actuality, he was supposed to be a bridge quarterback, and they were supposed to draft his heir apparent and have him be a stopgap solution till they could find a quarterback they want, but they didn't. And it worked out for him, luckily, from the standpoint of he played well. They barely made it into the playoffs with a 9-8 record. And there was no quarterback that they wanted to draft. So that's how he got his whole extension. But at the end of the day, it's not like he has a reputation of being a Tom Brady or being a world beater, because guess what? You drafted with the number 1 overall pick. And, it just goes to show the difference of somebody that was drafted as late as Tom Brady was, and somebody was the overall pick, number 1 overall pick of the draft. And you see how their respective careers played out. So, things don't always play out the way you would think or anticipate.
Not at all. Not at all. But fellas, man, and also I'm gonna use this time for any topics y'all want to talk about before we get out of here. Anything that we may have missed.
Y'all didn't miss this. I want to send this to y'all in the group chat. But these last few days kind of been super busy. One of my partners, he sent me a post, and basically, they were talking about Eli Manning making it into the NFL Hall of Fame. And Cam Newton's response was, if you make it to the Hall of Fame before I do, I deserve 2 jackets. And I was like, damn. So, based on what Cam Newton said pertaining to Eli Manning, do you think what he said was fact or cap?
It's fact. Don't get me wrong. Eli Manning does have the Super Bowl ring, and somebody need to go mute. Thank you. Eli Manning does have that Super Bowl ring with the Giants.
Those 2 Super Bowl rings.
2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, that's right. But Cam Newton was like a game, he changed the game. That's especially for the quarterback position. And plus he has the stats to prove it. Now people are going to judge him by him like stuff like him not going after the fumble in the Super Bowl or him complaining to the refs. But if you look at his stats, it's up there, especially being an athlete at quarterback. And him having getting those stats with old Jericho Cotchery, Ted Ginn Jr., old Greg Olson. You know what I mean? The Panthers organization, didn't do a good job really putting talent around him that he needed to, to overachieve. But that's why a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans we want John Harbaugh out of there, because we don't want what happened to Cam Newton to happen to Lamar. And of course, we all know Lamar is a better quarterback. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't want to be long-winded. Cam Newton definitely, in my opinion, is a better football player, and deserves to be in the Heisman before Eli Manning. In my opinion,
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Sorry, the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. And Big Red, we're gonna answer that question. The Hall of Fame. But brothers, JB and Big Joe, what's your opinion?
Well,
Start with Big Joe. Let Big Joe go first, JB. And you got static. That's why.
I know, JB, you got it. Go ahead, homie.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
bro.
All right, so I hear what you're saying, Jared. I agree with you. We all up here know that Cam Newton was a specimen at quarterback. He's a tank at quarterback. He can actually throw it. But just being real with you, Eli got 2 Super Bowl rings, man. So the people whoever picks and choose the Hall of Fames and stuff like that, they're gonna look at that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And he's the quote unquote Patriot killer. I think he beat the Patriots twice.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl, it was undefeated. They were like 18 and 0.
Yeah,
that's when they had that Randy Moss when Tom Brady and Randy Moss was unstoppable. That was an unstoppable combination. And the Giants, found a way of beating them. Of course, that play with Eli and David Tyree catching the ball on top of the crown of his head.
Yeah.
So, look, man, I agree with Cam, man, but you can't just. I mean, Eli wasn't no scrub now, but of course, Cam is the MF man. I think they both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, man. But I agree. Because dudes like Cam, let me be real, black quarterbacks like Cam always getting trashed on and critiqued on for every little thing. So I understand how Cam is feeling. And that's my opinion on it.
all right, good take, JB. Good take. Big Joe.
I hear what Cam Newton is saying, and that's the competitor in Cam Newton talking. That's Cam Newton saying, "Man, he ain't better than me. Man, stop. I'm Cam Newton. Who's Eli Manning? I'm that dog. I'm that N-word." That's Cam's way of thinking. So if he going to the Hall of Fame, him, Eli, then I definitely need to be going. Well, I have to disagree. Cam Newton is a freak of nature. Cam Newton could run the ball, throw the ball. Cam Newton was pretty much the franchise for the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton that was not only important for the culture, Cam Newton had white kids dabbing and all that kind of stuff. Cam Newton is definitely an icon, as he says. But should he get in the Hall of Fame before Eli Manning? Definitely not. That's due to him only going to a Super Bowl once, regardless of who he got around him. When they look at the Hall of Fame, they're going to look at that resume.
Yes, sir.
And for Cam Newton's resume, he has over 32,000 passing yards, 194 touchdowns, but he also has 123 interceptions. You dig what I'm saying? So, of
Yep.
course, Cam Newton got a lot of rushing yards. You know what I mean? He got, over 5,600 rushing yards and over 75 touchdowns. You dig what I'm saying? So, and then you got Eli. He got over 57,000 passing yards, 336 touchdowns, and 244 interceptions. But he beat Tom Brady twice. It's not about him, Eli Manning winning the Super Bowl. It's about Eli Manning stopping the Patriots from dominance twice. So with that, even though with the fluke catch, with the guy catching the ball on his helmet and all that kind of stuff, that's what the history is going to show. Unfortunately, they're not going to care about Cam Newton being a cultural icon, all that kind of stuff. They're going to look at them stats and them numbers, and Eli Manning's stats are better than Cam Newton's, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially since Cam Newton, the last 3 years of his seat, the last 3 years playing, he didn't look so well or do so well. So I mean, Cam Newton got benched for old boy. He ain't even on the Patriots no more. You know what I mean? So shout out to Cam. He that dog. I rocks with Cam Newton. If that's the case, then Michael Vick should go in before both of them, but that ain't gonna happen either.
No, that's not gonna happen at all. So
So
good point. Definitely good point.
but I hear.
Go ahead.
I hear what Cam is saying because that's a competitive spirit. But Eli Manning wasn't no hoe. Eli Manning, he wasn't as talented as his brother, but he got the job done.
Period. And Big Reg wants the panel to answer this question. He says, "What's our Ravens versus Bill predictions tonight for the night?" Let's start with you, Coach.
I'm going with the Ravens in a close win. And in terms of my take on the whole Cam Newton, Eli Manning debate, truthfully speaking, Eli Manning had a better team around him. We talk about how they stopped Tom Brady and Randy Moss in that offense, but you got to realize defensively, you had Jason Pierre-Paul, you had Michael Strahan, and Justin Tuck on the same defensive line. So I mean,
also you had Antonio Pierce as linebacker.
Yeah, so I mean, they had a savage defense. Individually, Cam Newton was a better player, but like y'all said, he had Eli Manning had a better team, and he beat the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. So I mean, I think everybody is right. I think Cam Newton is a better individual player, but the fact that Eli Manning has those 2 Super Bowls, both of those things need to be taken into consideration, and more than likely, they're probably going to side with Eli from the perspective of he has 2 Super Bowls, even though Cam Newton is a better individual player. And truthfully speaking, if you was to swap places with those 2 players, hell, there ain't no question that Cam Newton would have had a much better career than he actually had, because, I mean, that defense was phenomenal. You had Brandon Jacobs, you had Tiki Barber at running back. And, I mean, but as a physical specimen, yeah, Cam Newton definitely was a better player and a better athlete. You know,
Hey, that Panther defense with Luke Kelsey and them would take what Thomas Davis
yeah.
and Josh Norman, they wasn't no slouch neither though.
No, but I'm not gonna lie though. But just think about it. We talk about how they stop the Patriots from going undefeated. I mean, you had Michael Strahan, you had JPP, you had Justin Tuck on the same defensive line, bro. Come on.
True.
Then you got backing up Justin Tuck, Ozzy. Ozzy was his last name? Umenor?
O.C. Umenyiora, he was a DN.
Yeah.
OC.
Yeah. He was a dog too. He was a Pro Bowl player too. So
I mean, that NASCAR package was something savage for the Giants now.
yeah, it was.
And then they had some running backs too. They had like you said, Brandon Jacobs, Brandon Bradshaw, Ahmad Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a third dude that was good too.
Derek Ward.
Derek Ward. Yeah, they had a good team.
Well, then the real question is, who should go in first, Michael Vick or Cam Newton?
Michael Vick.
Vic.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
I mean, I'm gonna be consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Eli had a better career, but Cam was a better individual player. But even as good an individual player as Cam was, Michael Vick was that guy, bro. You know, and shit, I'm gonna keep it 100. Somebody like Mike Vick paved the way for somebody like Cam Newton.
All right, well, I got to say this. So, you know, we got, again, Hall of Fame. We got to compare stats. You know, so again, Cam Newton had over 32,000 passing yards, 194 touchdowns, 123 interceptions, and also for rushing, he had over 5,600 rushing yards and also 75 touchdowns. That's Cam Newton's stat. Now Michael Vick's stat. He had over 22,400 passing yards, 133 touchdowns, 88 interceptions, but he also had over 6,100 rushing yards and 36 touchdowns.
Not gonna lie, I was gonna wait till y'all finish. Michael Vick, that guy. Yeah, he paved the way, but Cam Newton just had better numbers.
I'm going off of what Cam said out his mouth. He said that Cam Newton said that Mike Vick and Lamar Jackson are going to be better, and Lamar Jackson is going to be a better quarterback than him, and Mike Vick was a better quarterback than him. So that's what Cam Newton said. But we all know that Eli Manning is not a better quarterback than Cam Newton, for athlete, but it's just he was in a better position. He did better than what he had. So, and that's not taking anything away from Eli Manning. He was a good quarterback.
And, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, truthfully speaking, hell, if it was me, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, Cam Newton, they all deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But I mean, everybody that you think should get in is not gonna get in. I mean, that's not the world we live in, but you know, it is what it is.
That's facts. Speaking of Hall of Fame, I think they're selecting Marshawn Lynch to be in this in the class.
Say that again, bro.
They're selecting Marshawn Lynch to be in the 2025 class, Hall of Fame class.
I feel he's definitely worthy of it, me myself.
You mean as far as one of the candidates?
One of the candidates, excuse me.
Yeah,
one of the candidates. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to get y'all hopes up.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah.
And one of the candidates. So I hope he get it, man, because he beast mode was that guy. But
don't forget he was a dog in Buffalo. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, you good. But just to finish with the predictions, Coach already gave his prediction. Big Joe, what's your predictions for Ravens versus Bills tonight?
I will not commit treason I'm going with LCC L1C4 Jackson. I'm going for the Ravens. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I will say, I believe the Bills have a better team and they have more momentum. But I'm going with Lamar Jackson.
Okay. Yeah, because you're a Ravens fan, JB, like me, so that's why I had you go last. Hey, make sure you ain't got another device playing in the background,
Nah, man, I'm good.
because you got a lot of static coming your way. But go ahead. What's your prediction?
Man, first of all, we're gonna see Drake May play for the Patriots because he Brissett get killed. But anyway, good lord. But I'm going with my Ravens, man. It all goes to the offensive line, the line of scrimmage. Is Harbaugh gonna be a jackass and just prove that he was right and not play the better players on the offensive line, which is Rosengard and Cleveland, or he's gonna continue to play 77 out there? If he is, then that's gonna be opportunity for Buffalo. Buffalo got a good, solid defensive line out there with Ed Oliver, the dude from Houston, and old
Von
boy
Miller.
from Miami, Von Miller and Greg, what's it that dude
Russo.
from Miami? Russo. Hey man, and then EJ Epinoza. They got some solid D linemen that can get after, but as long as 8 is out there, man, we got a chance. So I'm going with Lamar. So you know what it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm picking my Ravens too, but if that offensive line does not hold up against Bill's defensive line, we're gonna have trouble. But I'm hoping we hold up, man. If we just keep feeding Derrick Henry, and then hopefully that'll open up the passing lanes and defense play solid. I hope Coach Zach Orr calls a good defensive play tonight because we're gonna need it. Because technically we're ranked 32nd in the last in the league for pass defense, which I think is gonna change. Because our defensive scheme has been horrible. But I think if he changed the defensive scheme for this game, that may change. But we gonna see because the Josh Allen can sling that rock. He can sling that rock. So it's definitely this game gonna. I honestly believe win or lose, we gonna see how this is gonna decide our season. This game right here. But yeah, fellas, man, this was a good show, man. We just wanted to hop on here and just chop it up, man, about football, college, and NFL. Coach, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
You could catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. I got a Facebook group, on TikTok, on Instagram. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube at Coach 67 Sports TV. I talk about Southern University extensively, about my Southern University Jaguars, about the Saints. I'm gonna do more Saints content. New Orleans Pelicans, and for all my LDBC family members that are strictly boxing only. I've been, talking about more boxing. I'm gonna drop a video later on about the whole situation with Devin Haney and Tell a Female Hope Pass and Lion Ryan Garcia. So y'all come check me out. Catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed, phenomenal evening. And shout out to the mighty LDBC. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Y'all check the brother out. Big Joe, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Do y'all have time for a quick question?
Man, we got all the time that you need, man. No rush.
This is a real quick question for y'all brothers. So I heard this on the 2510 podcast. Shout out to Jackson and Shady. They were bringing up the fact that we now have two Monday night football games. So tomorrow we have the Titans and Dolphins and Seahawks Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson and McCoy, they're not a big fan, or Shady McCoy, that is. They're not a big fan of the two games on Monday Night Football. They say that it's kind of a distraction. Monday Night Football is designated for one game. Sit there and just watch one game because these games are staggered 45 minutes apart from each other. So I was going to ask the brothers, do y'all like having the two NFL games on Monday format, or do y'all want just to only be one?
To be honest with you, I like the two because let's say if one game is a blowout and the other game is more competitive. I mean, me personally, I like it. Now, um, I mean, that's just me. I don't know. See what the issue is. Um, JB Coach.
I agree 100% with my brother Jared Levin Green because if you look at the game between the Bills and the Jaguars, that was a trash game. The game after it made up for it being such a trash game. I mean, almost in that situation, it's almost like having a swing game where you got one game as a blowout, and you have another game that could fill in for it. So, yeah, I think having that additional game, I don't see an issue with it. But I'm not gonna be lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be truthful. I probably say for about the last maybe 10 years or so, like at one point, like I literally would watch every single NFL game, every single college game, every single game I could watch. Period. But I'm at the stage and phase in my life where I'm trying to, you know, start another business, generate multiple streams of income. So I don't have as much time to sit and watch as much football as I used to when I was maybe in my late 20s, in my 30s. And even with that being said, especially like if the Saints lose, I'm not gonna even lie, I pretty much don't care about the rest of the NFL games the rest of the day. Now, if I don't have anything to do and the Saints win, I'll be more apt to watch like other games. But I don't watch as much NFL football as I used to, even though I still watch a lot. It's not what it once was in terms of me watching like literally every single game I possibly could watch.
Okay, JB.
I mean, I agree with everybody said, man. Just Shady and McCoy, well, Shady and Jack, D-Jack was just stating their opinion. But as far as since we're consumers, we don't see nothing wrong with it. So hey, why not another game on Monday Night Football? And it's, like you said, especially if the first one is trash. So, but that's why, we have these podcasts and stuff, man, and especially with the players, so we can hear from the players' perspective. And that's all I got to say about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. All right. Okay. I was just curious what the brothers thought about it. But y'all, to my closing statement, salute to the mighty LDBC. You can catch me on all LDBC platforms. Salute, showing love to the brothers and sisters. Y'all have a safe Sunday. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. And hey, to answer my own question, I'm glad we getting two games on Monday. The only thing I hate, not that we got two games on Monday, is that we got to go to so many platforms just to watch football now. You got to go to ESPN, and then you got ESPN Plus, and then you got Peacock, and then you have NFL Prime, then you got YouTube TV, and then NFL Sunday Ticket. I mean, this is pretty. You're paying an arm and a leg just to watch some football when you used to be able to get it all in one spot. So I don't like that, but I'm glad we got two football games. Like y'all brothers said, if one's a blowout, we got another one to watch. And also there's sometimes a game will be on and I'm not really interested. Like I really don't care for the Titans and Dolphins, to be honest. Not really kind of don't care about the Seahawks and Lions either. So you're gonna have some matchups we really don't care to see. But we got football. Because when we ain't got it, we complaining. So while we got it, I'm gonna watch as much as I can. So salute to y'all. Salute to the Mighty LDBC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And JB, appreciate you for always supporting the show and um, doing things behind closed doors. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. Y'all have a blessed work week.
Yes, sir. Well,
Y'all too, brothers. Y'all be blessed.
you as well, brother. And y'all, this was another installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all have a blessed Sunday.